Greetings, this is Christine Van Pelt on Gibson County, Indiana, State Coordinator and Lead Recording Secretary for the Indiana Assembly. And we are continuing with Brent Allen Winter's Declaration of 76, United States Constitution. And we are going through the study guide now. Okay, so last week's reading, here is the link. It's pages 102 to 109. And hold on just a moment and let me pull up that reading, because we are in the we want to make sure that we have the book up as well and not just the study guide for this portion. Okay, so we can minimize her have both open here for us to be able to snap. There we go. Put out. Windows be not so friendly all the time, right? Okay, so now these are pages 102, so I need to get this back over here so that we are running through the same questions here. Okay, so then over here, and I need to display it for us. All right, so let's get this in a better view of our picture here so we can get the full. All right, so again, here are the pages in the reading itself, and then here is the link to be able to go to or read through the pages, and here's where you can be able to purchase Brent Allen Winter's book. Again, he is on Terre Haute, Indiana. He does not support the Indiana Assembly. I don't know if he may, I'm sure he does know that there has to be an Indiana Assembly, but support him because he has done great works to be able to make this happen. All right, so let's go ahead and get in with the study guide of these questions. Then we'll go into the reading for this week. Then we'll do a run through of the questions so you have them to read through for the week to be ready for next week. All right, Section 9, Clause 4, no capitation or other direct tax shall be laid unless in proportion to the census or enumeration herein before directed to be taken. And let's see because we want to see the questions too. Okay, so number 172. In fact, and I want to make sure I'm following along here as well so that we have the right stuff. Okay, yeah, 172 is in fact a capitation. Let's see, here we go. In fact, a capitation tax. A capitation tax taxes a person for being alive. It is tax on life, right? But a tax on life's necessities, let's see, where are we? Do we have that one? For 173, let's see. All right, but a tax on life, here we go, but a tax on life's necessaries does not tax a profit or gain, and therefore being unavoidable is direct, requiring allotment among the states. All right, 174, likewise a tax on an even trade, a clean swap having neither profit nor gain, is a direct tax requiring apportionment of its burden apportionment of its burden among the states, such as compensation in money, goods, or services for time, work, or services rendered. Okay. 175 in sum. Over here, let's see. In sum, this clause requires Congress to distribute the burden of any direct tax, i.e. an unavoidable tax, among the states in proportion to each state's population. All right. And this for number 176. All right. So, unconstitutional income tax collection now. Here we go. Emboldens government lawlessness. Okay. 177, Section 9, Clause 5. No tax or duty shall be laid on articles exported from any state. This clause bars such a tax. Section 9.6, no preference shall be given by any regulation of commerce or revenue to the ports of one state over those of another, nor shall vessels bound to or from one state be obligated to enter, clear, or pay duties in another. 180, this clause bars any state from taxing a ship coming to that state from a sister state. Clause 9, or Section 9, Clause 7, no money shall be drawn from the Treasury but in consequence of appropriations made by law. And a regular statement and account of receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. 182. In addition, the general government must publish financial statements from time to time, i.e., as often as the people, by their representatives in Congress, demand. All right. 183, Section 9, Clause 8. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, accept of any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. All right. Number 184, further, national officials may never accept any gift, office, payment, or title from a foreign power without getting Congress's consent. 185. Let's see. 185. Titles of nobility carry. Let's see. Titles of nobility carry. Here we go. Carry 3 dangers. The privileges they carry are hereditary by blood. When from a foreign power, they encourage splitting of loyalty from the United States. They deem noble those who are not, thereby usurping the place of God. 186, it forbids split loyalty such as dual citizenship, which now invades even the president's cabinet and federal bench. Right? Okay, 187, Section 10, Clause 1, no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. 188. Our Constitution never says whether a state has the right to secede, withdraw from the Union of States. 189. If a state does withdraw from the Union, as the southern states once did, our Constitution would no longer bind the withdrawing state. 190. In short, the federal government, here we go, in short, the federal government has only those powers our Constitution lists, these and no others, these and no more. 191. Alright. Okay, so 191. Indeed, under common law's freedom of contract, a creditor accepts it. Wait, freedom of contract, let's see. Of contract. A creditor can accept anything he wants in payment of a debt, or even forgive it. 192. In fact, let's see. In fact, it forbids. In fact, legislation forbids auditing the Federal Reserve Bank. 193. Hence their power. Let's see. 193. It's also here. So hence their power being, let's see. Hence their power. Okay, so it should be somewhere in here. Hence their power. Oh, hence their power in being absolute. Their lawlessness runs amok. 194. Most sinister of all, however, Federal Reserve bankers, by displacing real money with mere paper and then devaluing it, encourage hoarding of gold and silver, driving these from circulation, further undermining our country's stability and prosperity. All right, so the pages then for the reading for this week are 109 to 116. Here is the link for it. So we will go ahead then with that audio. Greetings, this is Christine Van Pelt on Gibson County, Indiana, continuing with Brent Allen Winter's Declaration of 76, United States Constitution, Common Lawyer Comments, clause by clause. Alright, we'll get our display up here to read with for this week's reading. Section 10, Clause 2. No state shall, without the consent of the Congress, lay any imposts or duties or duties on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing inspection laws, and the net produce of all duties and imposts laid by any state on imports or exports shall be for the use of the Treasury of the United States, and all such laws shall be subject to the revision and control of the Congress. Comment. Without the consent of Congress, no state can tax goods entering or leaving its borders, save for small fees, absolutely necessary to cover any cost of inspection. The framers knew that if the states were to lay imposts or duties on imports or exports, the regular natural flow of commerce between the states will halt, and therefore barred them from doing so. Further, any surplus left over after paying costs of state inspections must go to the Treasury of the United States. To ensure this result, the people of the United States, by this clause, allot to Congress ultimate control of state duties on imports or exports, subjecting all such laws to Congress's ever possible revision and control. The Treasury of the United States in this clause is the only department of the general government our Constitution mentions. Section 10, Clause 3. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power, or engage in war, unless actually invaded, or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. Comment. This clause bars any of the several states from entering a confederation with any foreign power. The phrase embraces everything from nations to religious hierarchies, or with any of its sister states without the consent of Congress. This clause applies the Christian just war tradition to the states, limiting their war powers to defense against aggressors, forbidding any state to keep regular troops or warships in peacetime without the consent of Congress. Further, our Constitution empowers only the general government to send military expeditions beyond the United States borders. Under this clause, a state can invade another country without Congress's consent only when actually invaded by that country or its allies, or when imminent danger, as will not admit delay, demands. Commander of the Tennessee militia, Andrew Jackson, acting under authority of this clause, invaded Spain's territory of Florida without Congress's consent. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 1. The executive power shall be vested in the President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and together with the Vice President chosen for the same term be elected as follows. Comment. The President's executive power is the power to enforce the laws and treaties of the United States. His tools for this day are the armed forces of the United States and the militia called out. Because his enforcement duties require more resources than the other two branches of government, most federal employees are under direction of the executive branch, the President. Simply put, our Constitution gives the President a near monopoly of force, limited only by the other two branches of objections of words and the people's, the militia's convictions or lack thereof. As a constitutional rule, however, the President has authority only over navigable waters, on the high seas, within the United States territories and the District of Columbia, federal lands and enclaves within the states, such as federal courthouses, post offices, and military bases. Section 1, Clause 2. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress, but no senator, representative, or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. Comment. The framers knew that England's lack of agreed qualifications for kinship and a fixed process for transfer of executive power had fomented havoc of war within, opening her to attack from without. Thus, Article 2 focuses on qualifications for the office of President, who could be chosen and how, and the process of transferring presidential power, when, where, and how he is to be given power. Thus, this clause establishes the Electoral College, a group of people chosen in each state by the people of each state in the manner each state legislature directs for the choosing of the President.
Nowadays, all states provide that the voters choose these electors, who in turn elect the president and vice president. Section 1, Clause 3. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for two persons, of whom one at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. And they shall make a list of all the persons voted for and of the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of the government in the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be the President. If such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if there be more than one who have such majority and have an equal number of votes, then the House of Representatives shall immediately choose by ballot one of them for president, and if no person have a majority, then from the 5 highest in the list, the said House shall in like manner choose the president. But in choosing the president, the votes shall be taken by states, the representation from each state having one vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. In every case, after the choice of the president, the person having the greatest number of votes of the electors shall be the vice president. But if there should remain 2 or more who have equal votes, the Senate shall choose from them by ballot the vice president. Comment. Amendment 17 modifies the foregoing clause. Section 1, Clause 4. The Congress may determine the time of choosing the electors and the day in which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. Comment. This clause empowers Congress to set the date upon which all the states must choose their presidential electors. If each state were able to choose a different day, one state could hold up the choosing and installing of a new president to allow the former president to continue in lawless power. This clause bars such abuse. Section 1, Clause 5. No person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of President. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident within the United States. Comment. This clause requires that every president, save those born in Britain's American colonies before 4th July 1776, must be a natural-born citizen and not a foreign-born naturalized citizen. Our first president, George Washington, and all 6 presidents after Washington, plus our 9th president, William Henry Harrison, were not born in the United States, but in Britain's American colonies before the United States became a country. Each of these 8 presidents was nevertheless a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution and thus eligible to the office of President. U.S. Constitution, Article 2, Section 1, Clause 5. Indeed, our Constitution bars no loyal American, regardless of birth, from holding any public office save one, reserved for that class of citizens called natural-born, President of the United States. This clause chooses the common law standard for citizenship called natural-born over the Roman civil law standard called native-born. The common law standard is of the laws of nature, which govern the world's few common law countries. The civil law standard is from the old Roman code, which still blankets the globe. Common law says every child whose natural parents, plural, are citizens is a natural-born citizen. Civil law says that regardless of the parent's citizenship, a child born on the sovereign soil is the sovereign subject forever. Our Constitution, being a brief of common law principles, rests on the following first principle. A natural-born citizen would receive only a single natural loyalty from both parents. Further, no foreign state could claim his loyalty. Our common law follows the laws of nature. A child follows his parents. If the parents are split in their loyalties, the child will split in loyalty to America. At common law, the nomenclature of which the framers were familiar, children born in a country of parents who both were its citizens became upon their birth citizens also. These were natural-born citizens. Minor v. Happersett, 1874, U.S. v. Wong Kim Ark, 1898, did not overturn this South Connecticut definition of natural-born citizen. And pardon if I did not define that correctly. SCT, I'm not sure what that means, maybe Southern Connecticut, but I would think that was something different. Or Southern Court, definition of natural-born citizen. Simply put, our Constitution requires that both parents of every president after William Henry Harrison must be an U.S. citizen at birth. Born of parents both being U.S. citizens and born within the territorial jurisdiction of the United States. So then Obama failed that test. And how many living men and women along the way allowed him on the ballot? If it becomes clear that the man living in the White House is not a natural-born citizen, both of his parents not having been U.S. citizens when he was born, the people must forthwith demand his removal. The House of Representatives must impeach him, and the Senate must try him for his crime, defrauding Americans in high-handed defiance of our Constitution. See U.S. Constitution, Article 2, Section 4, Clause 1. Our Constitution, by requiring each candidate for president to have been 14 years a resident within the United States, doubles the number 7, denoting double satisfaction of the residency requirement. Since time out of memory, the number 7 and its multiples has signified satisfaction, i.e., a fulfilling. Our Constitution also excludes every 7th day, Sundays, from the count of 10 days, triggering the President's pocket veto of legislation. See U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 7, Clause 2. In addition, this clause's natural-born requirement for presidents rejects the Normans' attempts to establish an hereditary kingship and the foreign kings it can and did bring to power by blood descent, and reestablishes England's pre-Norman Anglo-Dane standard for executive power. Always from among the country's kith and kin, but never by strict inheritance. In fact, our English word king is akin to the Anglo-Saxon words kind, kith, and kin, bespeaking the common law's threshold qualification for an Anglo-Saxon king. He must arise from amongst his people in all respects, kind, kith, kin, and sharing a common love of their land of birth, instilling zealousy for its safety and welfare. Likewise, today, our Constitution reflects this common law standard. Our president must arise from amongst the people. That is, he must be one of us in all possible respects. He must be an American by nature, that is, born of American citizens within the territorial jurisdiction of the United States. Anything less in the office of president endangers our country to betrayal into the hands of a foreign power. See Deuteronomy 17:15. Indeed, men hold a tender fondness for the land of their birth. To sum up, our Constitution requires that each of our presidents be natural born, as distinguished from native born, because of the likelihood of disloyalty in one foreign born. The framers' former king, George III, though born in England, was as much German as British. While a likable fellow, his continental roots fed his imperial tendencies. He lacked sensibilities for common law government. In short, he divided his loyalty. At first, he stayed passive and out of Parliament's way, spent his time promoting farming progress, raised a large family, and kept a big garden. However, under increasing pressure from Europe's central bankers and their East India Company tax and trade monopolies over the colonies, he joined Parliament by then envious of American prosperity to dominate the colonies. It would be wise to provide a strong check to the admission of foreigners into the administration of our national government, and to declare expressly that the commander-in-chief of the American army shall not be given to any but a natural-born citizen. Letter John Jay to George Washington, 25 July, 1787. Finally, that a candidate for president is well accepted and a good man is not enough. Because right government is under the course of the common law and not any supposed moral men, personal morality of those in government, though praiseworthy, remains unworthy of trust. Dependence upon human morality or for freedom will always bring disappointment and tyranny. Thus, our Declaration, Section 32, confesses dependence only upon the provisions of God, i.e., divine providence. The provisions of God. Not of God, not God, but the provisions of God. The divine providence, the provisions. The framers knew that even though liked, if King George III had been wholly British, he would have had enough affection toward common law freedoms to resist the bankers' envy of the colony's wealth. Hence, knowing the power of natural affections, this clause bars from the office of president any man not natural born, the power of the office of president as a dangerous opiate to the one natural born. How much more so to the one foreign born? It's a dangerous delusion to choose and trust men appearing good to quell our fears for the safety, our rights, such confidence. Madison continues, is the parent of despotism. Free government is founded in jealousy, zeal for freedom, and not in confidence of any man or men. James Madison. That is the end of this section, and we will see you on the next call. Peace and love.
All right, so now we'll go ahead and we'll run through these questions so you have them. All right. Okay, so question 195, section 10, clause 2. No state shall, without the blank of the Congress, lay any impost or duties on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its blank laws. 196, without the consent of Congress, no state can blank goods entering or leaving its borders, save for small fees, blank necessary to cover any cost of inspection. 197, section 10, clause 3, no state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep blank or ships of war in time of blank, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power, or engage in war, unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. 198, this clause bars any of the several states from entering a blank with any blank power. The phrase embraces everything from nations to religious hierarchies or with any of its sister states without the consent of Congress. 199. Under this clause, a state can invade another country without Congress's consent only when blank invaded by that country or its allies, or when blank danger as will not admit delay demands. All right, now we get into Article 2. Number 1, Section 1, Clause 1, the blank power shall be vested in a blank of the United States of America. Number 2, his tools for this duty are the blank forces of the United States and the blank called out. 3, simply put, our Constitution gives the President a near blank of force, limited only by the other 2 blank objections of words and the people's, the malicious convictions, or lack thereof. 4. As a blank rule, however, the President has authority only over blank waters on the high seas within the United States territories, the District of Columbia, federal lands, and enclaves within the states, such as federal courthouses, post offices, and military bases. Number 5, Section 1, Clause 2, each state shall blank in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of blank equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress, but no senator or representative or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. Number 6, thus this clause establishes the blank blank, a group of people chosen in each state by the blank of each state, in the manner each state legislature directs for the choosing of the President. Number 7, Section 1, Clause 3, the electors shall meet in their respective blank and vote by ballot, and they shall make a list of all the persons voted for and of the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and blank and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. Number 8, Section 1, Clause 4, the Congress may determine the blank of choosing the electors and the blank in which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. Number 9, if each state were able to choose a different day, one state could hold up the choosing and blank of a new president to allow the former president to continue in blank power. Number 10, Section 1, Clause 5. No person except a blank-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of President. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of blank years and been blank years a resident within the United States. Number 11, our blank president George Washington and all blank presidents after Washington, plus our 9th president William Henry Harrison, were blank born in the United States, but in Britain's American colonies before the United States became a country. Number 12, this clause chooses the blank standard for citizenship called natural born over the Roman civil law standard called blank born. Number 13, our common law follows the laws of blank. A child follows his parents. If the parents are blank in their loyalties, the child will split in loyalty to America. Number 14, simply put, our Constitution blank that both parents of every president after William Henry Harrison must be an U.S. citizen at blank. Born of parents both being U.S. citizens and born within the blank jurisdiction of the United States. Number 15, if it becomes clear that the man living in the White House is not a natural born citizen, both of his parents not having been U.S. citizens when he was born, the people must forthwith blank his removal, the House of Representatives must blank him, and the Senate must try him for his crime. blank Americans in high-handed defiance of our Constitution. 16. Our Constitution also excludes every blank day, Sundays, from the count of 10 days, triggering the President's blank veto of legislation. Number 17, in fact, our English word blank is akin to the Anglo-Saxon words kind, kith, and kin, bespeaking the common law's threshold blank for an Anglo-Saxon king. He must arise from amongst his people in all respects, kind, kith, kin, and sharing a common love for their land and birth, instilling zealousy for its safety and welfare. Number 18, anything less in the office of blank endangers our country to betrayal into the hands of foreign blank. 19, he lacked blank for common law government. In short, he blank his loyalty. 20, it would be blank to provide a strong check to the admission of foreigners into the administration of our national government, and to declare expressly that the commander-in-chief of an American blank shall not be given to any but a natural-born citizen. 21. Dependence upon human blank for freedom will always bring blank and tyranny. 22. The power of the office of president is a dangerous blank to the one natural born. How much more so to the one blank born? And then number 23, it is a blank delusion to choose and trust men appearing good to quell our fears for the safety of our rights. Such confidence, Madison continues, is the parent of blank. Free government is founded in jealousy, zeal for freedom, and not in confidence of any man or men. All right, so we have the General Assembly and Militia Assemblies on the first and third Mondays of the month at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the General Assembly along with Militia Assembly meet on the second and fourth Mondays of the month. And take note for October 30th, there will not be an assembly call. All right, also pktfnews.org, the vote went out to the Indiana Assembly about adding the PKTF news and supporting that, and all were in favor, so I will be adding that link to the Assembly website, and you'll be able to go there and keep current with information going on. You'll learn more as we go along with it. Also, if you know of other platforms that offer live streaming and chat functions, email records at theindianaassembly.org to be able to, so we can see about getting those going. We are supporting neighboring Kentucky Assembly. They will be joining us on the first, second, third, and fourth Mondays. And we'll be providing martial at arms services for us until the Indiana Assembly gets its marshal at arms, as well as supporting the Kentucky Assembly as they are without state coordinator support. I will be supporting them through those phases as they're gaining coordinators as well. All right, and again, here are the sites. Oh, I need to put up the YouTube channel. Oh, it's here. Okay, so I need to correct that in the notes. All right, I want to wish you all peace and love, and I will see you on the next video, and peace and love.